Welcome to Bible Prayers and Untold Stories, where every whisper verse is truth, and every story brings light to the soul. Let us journey through the sacred words and uncover the wisdom hidden in prayer. In the silence surrounding the marble wall, a sacred moment is waiting to unfold, a meeting between two souls in harmony. A silent mission is starting from that darkness. Listen, as the untold words will resound, and the holy paths will gradually unfold before your eyes. Inside the Vatican, the light is dim. The space is quiet and covered with ancient breath. The gentle sound of the cathedral bells echoes. The wind gently passes through the stained glass windows, the mossy marble walls, through the holy paintings, to the image of Pope Leo XIV sitting silently at an ancient wooden table, his hand resting on a page of ink notes. The Pope's inner voice low, deep. Everything is in the silence of God. All the voices of the world must retreat before the call of the soul. He looked up at the thick, old wooden door, his eyes waiting for something sacred, a sign from above. The wooden door began to creak open gently, light pouring into the room like a ray of new hope. Footsteps echoed softly on the cold stone floor. There was no noise of the media, no crowd, just the presence of another soul, Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle. Tagle entered, his figure simple, his eyes thoughtful, as if he were walking on a prearranged path, a wordless mission. The two men stood face to face in absolute solemnity. No words needed to be said. Their breathing was even, blending with the beating of their hearts, the air full of hidden meaning and sacredness. This was not a meeting of the powers that be, nor was it an event followed by the media. This was a meeting of two companion souls, a secret invitation from God, to open a new chapter in a journey of silent but intense service. Pope Leo XIV stepped forward, gently extending his hand, a gesture both friendly and holy. Tagle bowed slightly, his eyes expressing wordless respect. The two men meeting like two old friends who had long sympathized and trusted each other. Pope Leo XIV, in a warm voice, but full of divine power. Luis, we have been led to this moment, not by chance, but by the will of the Almighty. Cardinal Tagle, calm, humble. Your Holiness, I have come here not to obey orders, but to listen and follow the path that God has laid out for us. The two sat down at a simple round table, the light from the candle lit in the middle of the table, creating a warm and sacred circle. The expressions on their faces, each moment of silence seemed to contain thousands of unspoken words, a spiritual preparation to receive a great mission. In this small room, space and time seemed to stop. This was a meeting of faith and mercy, an invitation to embark on a journey where strength lies not in power, but in humility and absolute trust. Sunlight passes through the stained glass windows, creating shimmering bands of color on the stone floor, symbolizing the sacred light illuminating the path ahead. The bell rang softly, beginning the silent but powerful journey of two men, two souls chosen by God. The simple meeting room in the Holy See, the warm light from the small window, the shadow of the tree gently falling on the ancient wooden table, the sound of the ancient clock ticking regularly, blending with the light breathing of the two people sitting opposite, the face of Pope Leo XIV, his eyes filled with peace and understanding, and Cardinal Tagle, thoughtful, focused, as if opening his soul to receive the sacred. Pope Leo XIV, voice soft, calm, like a whisper from the depths of the soul. Luis, today we are not talking about power or politics. This is a journey of faith and mercy, a journey to listen to God's call in silence. Cardinal Tagle, head tilted, voice sincere and humble. Your Holiness, I used to think that my mission was only to lead, but now I realize that first of all I have to listen to even the faintest voice in the flock. A wider angle of view shows the dim light spreading. The space seems to expand endlessly, symbolizing spiritual depth. Time seems to stop in this small room. For nearly an hour, two souls not only exchanged words, but also shared the secret feelings of faith, waiting and hope. There was no ostentation, no power intrigues, only the blending of mercy and steadfast faith. The Pope's hand gently placed on Cardinal Tagle's hand, as if an invisible transmission. Pope Leo XIV, this mission is not a responsibility to be honored. It is a silent path, where the heart and soul are open to embrace all the pain and joy of humanity. Cardinal Tagle, raising his head and looking straight into the Pope's eyes, his eyes full of determination. I will walk on this path, that path not to advance but to serve, to be the voice of the voiceless, the light for the darkness that surrounds. A hazy memory, the image of Tagle in the poor villages, arms embracing children, eyes looking at the horizon, the holy image of shepherd. Faith and mercy are not just empty words, but real steps on the path of service. Tagle lived like that, with all his heart, with every breath in his days with the poor, with souls in need of healing. Back in the meeting room, the light became softer, a symbol of acceptance and transformation. Pope Leo XIV. Luis, let us together be bridge builders, those who listen before they lead, those who bring hope in the darkness. That is our sacred mission. Cardinal Tagle, nodding gently, voice full of faith, I will let mercy guide my way, and faith will be the lamp that lights my steps. The two stood up, looking toward the window where the sunlight shone through, creating a gentle halo around them. In that silence and listening, a sacred mission began, a journey not for the faint-hearted, but for those who dare to open their hearts, to receive and share boundless love. Soft, dim light, image of a small coastal village in the Philippines in the early morning. The sound of gentle waves, birds chirping, and the sound of wind blowing through the banyan trees. From where the waves gently touched the white sand, Luis Antonio Tagle stepped out into the world with an open heart and a soul filled with love. A poor childhood did not extinguish the flame of faith, but only made it burn stronger. A young boy Tagle was sitting on a small step, his bare feet touching the ground, his eyes intently watching the flickering candlelight in the small church. Sitting in the middle of the simple space, with a flickering light of the candle not only lit up the altar, but also illuminated the depths of his soul, young Tagle learned that faith is not something far away, but is present in every moment of everyday life. Image of Tagle's silent footsteps on the red dirt roads. Through poor villages, his eyes met the eyes of the poor, simple but warm smiles. The footsteps of a shepherd do not always echo in the majestic temple. Sometimes, it is just the worn footsteps on the red dirt road among the poor, where eyes and smiles become sacred flames that light up the dark night. Tagle bent down, embracing a crying child, his eyes gentle, his words not needing to be loud but still filled with love. He not only preached the word of God, but lived each verse fully by touching life, embracing suffering souls, transmitting warmth and hope to cold hearts. At an outdoor ceremony, Tagle held the microphone, but not just preaching, but also conveying faith and comfort. The people applauded, their eyes filled with tears. Tagle's sincere love became a bridge connecting differences, overcoming cultural and linguistic borders, and leading people closer to God than ever before. Tagle sat alone in a small room, holding a rosary in his hand, the gentle light shining on his pensive face, praying. In that silence, the flame of faith burned constantly, leading him through every challenge, every path of service, and accompanying the flock in a world full of suffering. Tagle stood by the beach at sunset, looking far away toward the horizon. The red light dyed the entire sky golden. Tagle's voice warm, slow. Every step is a silent prayer. Every look is a wordless prayer. I do not walk alone, but with God, with the people he has entrusted to me. Panorama of the countryside. People gathered around the small church, hand in hand. The light of hope and faith spread in the darkness. The shepherd's journey is not just a road, but a life sanctified by love and service. Tagle, with his heart and faith, has become a symbol of living mercy in the world. A gentle nun gives bread to the poor in Mexico. A priest in the Philippines holds the hands of poor families. A community of parishioners in Ireland gathers together in prayer. The transformation of the church is not loud noise, but small silent actions, gentle but steadfast steps. Respecting the poor, accompanying them instead of imposing. These are promises that have begun to be kept. Parishioners in local communities, their eyes shining with faith and hope. The faces of the Filipinos, Mexicans, and Irish people beaming as they listen to the preaching of Tagle and Pope Leo on television or in Mass. Everywhere, from the villages of the Philippines, the small towns of Mexico to the parishes of Ireland, faith is nourished by sincerity and example. The preaching is not just words, but guiding light for thirsty souls. A small gathering of bishops and religious. The lights dim, the space filled with thoughtful silence. Bishop, in a deep, thoughtful voice. Listening is the most courageous act of leadership. When we open our hearts, we allow profound transformation to penetrate every corner of our souls. Young monk, full of faith. It is not just humility, but the opening to a new era, an era of mercy and true service. The response from priests, religious, and laity is not just words, but a divine sign of profound change. A new era is taking shape, where love and humility replace power and division. Image of Pope Leo and Cardinal Tagle standing at the window of the Holy See, looking out over Vatican City at sunset. Pope Leo XIV voice, calm, steady. We do not run after storms of power, but walk in the light of faith and hope. True change begins with a listening heart. The faithful walk together on a small path under the light of dawn, symbolizing the beginning of a new journey. That silent change is a reminder that the church is not just an organization, but a family, a community of souls living and loving together, walking on the path of God. The quiet space inside the Vatican, the gentle light shining through the stained glass windows, creating magical streaks of light on the cold stone floor. The image of Pope Leo XIV kneeling in the chapel, his eyes peaceful and deep. Next is the image of Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle, also kneeling in a small church, his hands holding rosary beads, his soul filled with prayer. Two people, two messengers who do not follow the beaten path of power or fame. They are calm, know how to kneel, know how to serve, carrying in their hearts pure love, patience, and boundless mercy. They walk together through the corridors of the Holy See, not with the hurried steps of a powerful leader, but with slow, steady steps, as if leading a spiritual pilgrimage. The voice of Pope Leo XIV. Our church does not need noisy revolutions, but quiet steps. Steps of love, of companionship, and patience. That slow but steady movement is spreading, not chasing power, not standing still in the past. The church walks in the light of faith, in the company of souls who know how to listen and love. The symbol of light from a Holy See spreads throughout churches, villages, and cities, connecting people in a circle of peace and hope. Cardinal Tagle's voice, clear, full of faith. Love does not need to be loud to be powerful. It quietly changes the world with small actions, with a steadfast presence and an open heart. Pope Leo XIV and Cardinal Tagle stand together, hand in hand, looking out at the great family of the church, the laity, priests, religious, and all the people. The sun shines, creating a halo around the two people, a symbol of spiritual union. Two souls, one mission. Together, they invite everyone to follow the path of listening, serving, and loving. A silent but invincible revolution. Love changes the world. Walk in the light of faith and love. Be listeners and servants. For it is in this humility that we find true strength. In the darkness of the world, the light of faith never goes out. It only awaits hearts that open, steps that steadfastly embark on the journey of love and service. They are not the ones with the most power, but those who hold high the lamp of hope for humanity. Their journey, that of the church, is a journey without end, a journey through trials, through darkness, always toward the light. Each of us is a part of that light. Every humble step, every sincere prayer, every act of love contributes to creating a better world. Keep listening, keep serving, because it is in the silence of humility that the world is changed and love is eternal power. The story continues. In every open heart, in every step that serves.